Shock! Ukraine has unveiled kamikaze drones with a 1-ton warhead. The Black Sea is turning into a trap for the occupiers. An explosive surprise for the Kremlin. Barracuda drones have started hunting bridges, barges, ships, and ports. Meanwhile, sea babies are hitting the Crimean Bridge again. A techno strike against Russia. American helicopters and Swedish shock. Ukraine unveils kamikaze drones with 1-ton warheads. The Black Sea is a trap for occupiers. An explosive surprise for the Kremlin. Barracuda drones are hunting bridges, barges, ships, and ports. Sea babies are hitting the Crimean Bridge again. A techno strike against Russia. American helicopters and Swedish Gripen jets are on the runway. NATO megatech is now with the Ukrainian armed forces. Green light for strikes. Western weapons are flying into the enemy's heart. All this and more coming up. Ukraine has received a flotilla of sea monsters called Barracuda, 9 drone types from FPV to kamikaze, with warheads up to 1 ton. This is no longer just training. Enemy bridges, barges, and ports are now targets. These iron monsters fall into 4 groups, the standard type and one based on a jet ski. The third version of the drone was likely created based on motorboats. There is also a 4th group, long-range platforms with a range of up to 700 kilometers. Ukrainian waters are becoming a deadly trap for the occupiers. And this is just the beginning. All drones from the first group have a maximum speed of up to 70 kilometers per hour, a maximum operational range of 350 to 400 kilometers. And for communication and control, they are equipped with Starlink and backup radio control. Notably, their first public appearance took place back at the end of August. The second group consists of drones that have a maximum speed of up to 110 kilometers per hour, a maximum operational range of 300 to 350 kilometers, and are also controlled via Starlink with backup radio channel control. The first type in the second group is the Barracuda 4, which is armed with 4 FPV drones. There is also the Barracuda 5, a kamikaze version with a warhead ranging from 70 to 250 kilograms. And the last type in the group is the Barracuda 6, which can be equipped with grenade launchers, and apparently even the third group contains only 2 types of drones. They have a maximum speed of up to 110 kilometers per hour, a maximum operational range of 300 to 350 kilometers, and their communication system is similar to the previous versions. The first type in this group is the Barracuda 7, which is designed for evacuation and has a payload capacity of up to 250 kilograms. Next is the Barracuda 8. A more powerful and heavier kamikaze drone intended to strike targets such as bridges, ships, and barges. For this purpose, it can be equipped with warheads, with a warhead weighing from 100 to 400 kilograms. And finally, the last group, which includes only 1 drone, the Barracuda 9. This iron monster has a maximum speed of up to 55 kilometers per hour, a maximum range of up to 700 kilometers, and a payload capacity of up to 1,000 kilograms. Such drones should be suitable not only for coastal defense but also for long-range strikes, for example against ports in occupied Sevastopol or Novorossiysk. Meanwhile, the Security Service of Ukraine has showcased a new generation of the legendary Sea Baby maritime drones. These drones have already undergone trials in successful missions in the Black Sea. In particular, they were involved in the 3rd strike on the Crimean Bridge, which took place on June 3, 2025. The upgraded drones are
Our advanced drones have proven effective in the Black Sea. Operations against the Russian fleet will continue.
The armed forces of Ukraine control the sea and sky. Ukraine will buy new Gripen fighter jets from Sweden. The deal was signed during a meeting between President Zelensky and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. Ukraine will get 120 to 150 Gripen E fighters, which are just starting production.
This important development will allow Ukraine to build a very powerful and modern air force, giving the country the ability to better defend its skies and strengthen its national security. This marks the beginning of a long and challenging journey for Ukraine, one that will require dedication, resources, and ongoing support to achieve lasting improvements in its military capabilities. For the next 10 to 15 years, Zelensky also commented on the importance of acquiring the Gripen fighter jet for Ukraine. We are opening a new and very meaningful chapter in the relationship between Ukraine and Sweden. Today, there is the first official document that paves the way for Ukraine to receive
a significant fleet of powerful Gripen fighter jets. The helicopter era for the armed forces of Ukraine has indeed already begun. A memorandum of intent has now been officially signed between the government of Ukraine and the legendary American company Bell. The procurement of advanced attack helicopters is underway.
And transport helicopters is beginning. The Viper and Venom are not just helicopters. They send a message to the Kremlin. These machines are used by the US Marine Corps and NATO allies. The Belgian F-16 is also coming. For more, see the report. One of the largest Russian telegram channels discusses the Viper.
And the Venom. The manufacturer Bell Textron announced the signing of letters of intent to develop cooperation with Ukraine. An agreement was signed to assess approaches to industrial cooperation as part of a potential purchase of AH-1Z and UH-1Y helicopters. The agreements for the Venom and Venom 1Z were signed as part of the helicopter procurement. This is a transport helicopter, while the Viper is an attack helicopter which carries Hellfire missiles. Both of them are capable of using
70mm rockets, which basically means APKWS, and the Venom can be equipped with a minigun. Recalling American exercises, Ukraine can use these helicopters to shoot down drones like the Geran. The interest of Russian media in the purchase of such helicopters suggests that the Kremlin understands that with the appearance of these birds in the Ukrainian sky, the air defense system will be much more effective in combating Shahed strike drones. Bell attack helicopters are being purchased to replace the outdated Mi-24 and Mi-8, which have long since exhausted their service life. 85% of the parts in the Viper and Venom are identical, which means cheaper and simpler maintenance. The Viper was created during the Vietnam War back in 1965, and by the 2000s it received new engines and rotor, upgraded avionics, and a modern fire control system. Comprehensive survivability improvements as well as extensive digitalization. In terms of capabilities, the Viper is almost on par with the best attack helicopter in the world, the Apache.
Objectively, the Apache is more powerful because it is an aircraft with a maximum takeoff weight of 10.4 tons compared to 8.4 tons. The Apache has a combat radius of 300 kilometers, while the Viper's is 243 kilometers. Also, the Apache's main armament is more extensive, up to 16 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles versus 8 on the Viper. But the typical combat loadout on the Apache attack helicopter is actually quite similar to that of the Viper helicopter. It usually carries 8 Hellfire missiles for precision strikes, along with 2 rocket pods, making their armament configurations closely matched in most missions.
The equipment belong to Ukraine. This significant initiative has been in steady development for some time now,
and we are eagerly awaiting its completion. Jeffrey Schlusser, Senior Vice President of Bell. In addition to the procurement of transport and attack helicopters, Ukraine will soon receive another batch of F-16 fighter jets. The Belgian Minister of Defense stated that as early as the beginning of 2026, the new birds will enter service with Ukraine immediately after Belgium.
The new F-35s will be delivered. We continue to receive deliveries according to schedule. The first 3 F-35s Not 4 have already arrived. Now they need to become operational. I think this will take a year or a year and a half. Once we achieve operational capability, we will be able to transfer our F-16S to Ukraine. This is a very important phase. I always explain this to the Ukrainians. As soon as we can, we will transfer them. But do not forget that our country has DCA capabilities and plays an important role in nuclear policy. This year, Ukraine received 2 F-16S from Belgium
for spare parts, which are essential for maintaining and ensuring the operational readiness of military equipment. And according to the security agreement that was signed between Ukraine and Belgium, the latter country is required to deliver a total of 30 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine by the year 2028. As of June 2025, Ukraine has already received more than 40 F-16s from its international allies.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Western media contributed to adding fuel to the fire. The United States has lifted its ban, which had previously prohibited Ukraine from using Western-supplied long-range missiles to strike targets located within Russian territory. This policy change now allows Ukraine to employ these advanced missile systems provided by Western allies for military operations against positions inside Russia. Nevertheless, Ukraine has already used a British missile, Storm Shadow, to strike a plant in Bryansk where explosives and rocket fuel were produced. Storm Shadow to strike a plant in Bryansk where explosives and rocket fuel were produced. By the way, the U.S. may restrict the use of these missiles since they rely on American targeting data. Therefore, the question of whether Ukraine has actually been given permission to strike deep into Russia with Western missiles remains open. Incidentally, Britain is entering a new phase of military support for the Ukrainian armed forces. Missiles, strike drones, armored vehicles, and ammunition. All of this. The allies are putting pressure on Russia to the end, but Ukraine has achieved parity. The skies are under our birds' control. The West is ramping up arms deliveries, and this is just the beginning. What a powerful wave of support for Ukraine's victory. The allies are putting pressure on Russia to the end. Ukraine has achieved parity. The skies are under our birds' control. The West
welcomes and is ramping up arms deliveries. This is the beginning. What support awaits us next? The United Kingdom is strengthening Ukraine's skies. Hundreds of air defense missiles were delivered early, reported on the British government website.
The development of industrial partnerships is important so that we can learn from their experience and build an industrial base together. This was stated during the visit to Kyiv by the Minister for Defense Readiness and Industry, Luke Pollard. The development of industrial partnerships is important so that we can learn from their experience and together
build the industrial base necessary to defend the United Kingdom, deter our adversaries, and support Ukraine. This concerns the Light Multi-Role Missiles, LMM, which are produced as part of the UK's military support program for Ukraine. This is a high-precision missile measuring 1.3 meters in length, weighing only 13 kilograms, and with a range of up to 8 kilometers. It is equipped with a laser infrared guidance system. Its 3-kilogram fragmentation warhead with a proximity fuse makes it effective against both aerial and ground targets. The missiles can be launched from various platforms, including ground-based launchers such as Manpads, the Stormer HVM air defense system, or the Rapid Ranger, helicopters and ships.
Helicopters and ships. As Russian aggression intensifies, European countries must unite and strengthen support. Ongoing industrial cooperation with defense colleagues and international allies
remains the only way to ensure a safe and prosperous future for the people of Ukraine. British support is not limited to supplies. At the same time, a new major initiative has been announced. Stage of industrial cooperation. The £1.6 billion package, approximately $2 billion, is aimed at integrating LMM missiles into Ukraine's air defense and expanding joint production capabilities. According to Luke Pollard, the total volume of UK military aid in 2025 will reach £4.5 billion or $5.6 billion. This is a record figure for London in its entire history. And now, another key element. The United Kingdom and Ukraine are launching joint production of interceptor drones. The project could begin in the coming months. We're talking about a production line capable of manufacturing around 2,000 interceptors per month. Such a pace is exactly what's needed to counter massive swarms of Shaheeds and other large-scale attacks by combat UAVs. The first production lines will be set up in the UK, but the project's structure is designed to be flexible, allowing for a rapid response to frontline needs and the ability to move production closer to Ukraine. The British side promises to contribute developments, research expertise, and modern manufacturing technologies that Ukrainian factories currently lack. This is not just a supply contract. It's an attempt to create sovereign capabilities for Ukraine. Equipment, technical support, training, and joint research and development chains. In parallel with the UK, the Netherlands have also discussed a memorandum on joint drone production. European partners are building up an industrial cooperation that should function not as a one-time delivery, but as a series of production lines, services, and training.
In other words, while in terms of drone quality, we have long since caught up with the so-called Russian, but in reality, Iranian Chinese Shaheeds, the question remained whether we could scale up production. We have ongoing cooperation matching Russian, Iranian, and Chinese drone quality, and can now scale up loitering drone production. Are already very close to achieving parity, not only in terms of the overall quality and performance of the machines themselves, but we are also extremely close to reaching parity in their total quantity and numbers, which is a very important and significant factor in this particular case. After all, this is not the kind of war or conflict that can be won with just a few pinpoint targeted strikes. Here, in this situation, the overall scale and magnitude of the attacks is what truly matters and makes a difference. It's absolutely essential when
we're talking about figures like a 20% reduction in Russia's entire oil refining industry, that's when you need this kind of scale. And now we've finally reached that scale. New steps towards other allies of Ukraine are also preparing support. The United States plans to continue supplying modern weaponry, including air defense systems, artillery, and cruise missiles, as well as strengthening the defense of Ukraine's infrastructure. According to preliminary plans, in 2025 through 2026, the volume of military aid could amount to several $billion. Among European countries, Germany and France are preparing to supply armored vehicles and ammunition, and are also expanding the training of Ukrainian military personnel at their institutions. Centers such as these. Poland and the Baltic states are considering the possibility of providing additional types of weapons and equipment, as well as conducting joint exercises to improve the combat readiness of Ukrainian troops. In addition, the Allies are developing plans for the long-term integration of new air defense systems and artillery complexes so that Ukraine can build a resilient defense network and prepare for possible escalation from the Russian side. Humanitarian. Poland and the Baltic states are increasing military and humanitarian support for Ukraine, medical assistance for those in need, as well as the comprehensive training of highly qualified specialists to work effectively in challenging crisis conditions.
Medical assistance, which involves providing necessary healthcare and support to people in need, as well as the training of specialists who are prepared to work effectively in crisis conditions, plays a crucial role in ensuring that individuals receive proper care during emergencies.